Hey guys, the new patch for The Division is out and I want to talk a little bit about it. First off, I believe that patches are made to improve a game. Balance it out, but this patch is an overhaul for people who did not play the PTS. There's a lot here to take in. I want to go over each change and tell you if it's good or bad in my opinion. Then I want to talk about how 1.6 is basically a ninja gameplay patch Massive did without you realizing it. But before I get to that, let's take a look at the new patch and let me tell you what I think is good and bad. So here we go. The Dark Zone map expansion is now bigger, making it easier for solo players to farm the DZ as you have better chance of going unnoticed. But a lot of the solo players just didn't have a chance in there, and now this is going to give them that opportunity. They added legendary difficulty. To most, this will feel like 1.3 again, spongy enemies moving left and right and hitting really hard. Adding HP and more enemies is just a cheap way to increase difficulty level at an end game. I think Massive should have been creative and think of something better than this. Now let's take a look at the gear stats. So they changed the minor and major stats around. Seems a little random to me, and it just doing things to make you think that they are actually working hard at making the game balanced. Yeah, they balance some stuff, but I find this useless and I'm putting it in my bad section. Again, they need to learn that less is more, making everything available on all gear pieces and have one major and one minor. The major will give you more and the minor a small boost. Kind of like what they did with their weapon mods. For example, if you want to recalibrate a mask to have crit hit chance, in the major it would have something like 10%. And on top of that, you can recalibrate it into minor as well to have a crit chance of 3%. I don't see these limits they put as a good thing and destroys build diversity. Give us, the player, all the options in all gear. One major, one minor, we choose. Just make sure that attributes that aren't that good get a higher bonus, and attributes that are really good get a lower bonus. So they added more customization to your character, which is good, I guess, but the bad part is you have to buy with real money and it's pretty expensive. Now let's take a look at combat. They increased the time to revive the down teammate from 3 to 5. This is great in PvP. It helps long range builds and snipers to actually have a place in the game now. I've been asking for this for a long time in the forums and I'm happy that they did it. They changed the hipfire, so when you hipfire, stability has been reduced while moving, so that's really good. So they're trying to remove that running around in circles, headless chicken fight, which, this might help. There's also now a short cooldown between each roll, so you can't just keep spamming your roll, which again is going to stop the circling around. Now they also upped the body shots damage, so you're going to do more damage when you hit the body. This only works in PvP. I don't understand why they did this. It was fine the way it was, keep the headshots and reward skilled players instead of spray and pray shooters. A change they did in the Dark Zone is that you can fast travel now between Dark Zone checkpoints. I would have went with you can fast travel to any safe house or checkpoint when out of combat instead. Safe house to safe house, we could have done that before the patch. Either way, it just saves us one loading screen. I don't see why they did this. It's not going to make much of a difference. I'm putting it in the bad section. It could have been done much better. Players will no longer lose Dark Zone experience and funds when killed in the Dark Zone if they're not rogue. This will make more solo players enter the DZ and less crying in the forums. But they should also have double the XPs for those who are rogue, and at least still give an incentive to go rogue. Also, this makes the messenger bag even more useless. They should change it to receive triple XP when killing a named boss or something. You hear that, Massive? That's a pretty good idea. Now let's take a look at the armor. The armor has been removed as a major bonus on any items and it was replaced with health. I don't understand why they did this. I know armor was the meta, but simply raise the other attributes higher to make them just as good as armor, if not better. I do like that I can now see how much base armor an item has right away and know if I should trash it or not, which is good. They added a new bonus called Resist All, which adds resistance to all type of status effects. If they can put everything like fire, shock, and others into one attribute, it is much better. I think Massive should learn more about this concept of less is more. Keeping with what I was saying earlier, having one major and one minor. Now let's take a look at some talents. On the move was reduced to 15%. I think it's too much of a nerf for an ability that is kind of hard to trigger. Just make it so that it doesn't work on players and only on NPCs or something like that. But not something like this. It was kind of hard to trigger for casual players. Critical save and battle buddy was nerfed, and this is a bad thing, but only because healing in the game now sucks. Massive nerfed healing big time, bigly, whatever, making everyone die much faster again, and ninja nerfed to gameplay, which I will explain later. Adrenaline will no longer apply overheal. Again, bad, as healing is very bad right now. These shouldn't have been nerfed that much. Let's take a look at skills. The skill power curve has been modified, resulting in less efficient skill at low skill and more efficient skill at high skill. This makes good sense. Should have been like this from the beginning of the game launch. Not sure why it wasn't, and is now implemented in one of these last patch notes. Doesn't make sense to me. Skill haste gear bonuses have been increased by 100%, so I guess that's good. Not only that, but skill haste has a cap of 50%. Why? If someone is speccing into skill haste, why cap that player? He's sacrificing something else to be able to use more skills more often. Why kill the skill build like this is beyond me. They changed the sticky bomb. They changed the flashbang to have more of a flashbang effect. Now a useless skill, unless they make it very powerful and blinding for a very long time. They replaced the proximity fuse with a disruptor, which has an EMP effect, so you're wasting one of your skills to negate another skill. Useless. You're better off with anything else. They added warning and delay to the sticky bomb. This means that sticky bombs, except for disruptors, will no longer detonate immediately, but after some time. Give some time for other players to try to avoid the explosion by rolling away. In my opinion, that's really good, especially that you can't spam roll anymore. The first aid will now heal in 2 steps. An instant burst of healing, and then a heal over time. Again, nerfing healing. The booster shot damage mitigation bonus was decreased by 50% from 15% to 7.5%. This was pretty overpowerful and needed a nerf, and it was as good as on the move by simply pressing one button. The mobile cover got some love. The base cooldown was increased by 33%. Maybe add even more to it, something like 4 walls around you or something like that. It would be cool. The pulse reduced impact of skill power and critical hit chance and critical hit damage again. Why? If someone wants to build skill, let them. The tactical scanner crit hit was increased, but crit damage was decreased, making this a very good skill, especially with SMGs. So for smart cover, damage resilience was decreased by 33%. We have less armor. Why nerf this? Reduce impact of skill power on damage resilience again. Why make tech builds useless? The smart cover was hardly used, and now it's even more useless. The Seeker Mines have their PvP damage modified, which was indeed very needed, so thank you for that. I think that's a good change. There's no explanation needed there. The support station, the radius was decreased from 8 meters to 7.5. I don't know why. Like 0.5 meters would change. Like, can't you think of anything else you could change? Like, you have to put a developer on this to, hey man, you gotta change that radius 0.5 meters. Like, seriously? Anyways, the revive time is increased from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Again, good for sniper builds who actually will be able to take down players now. Now for signature skills, if you use one and someone else wants to use the same one, they can't. They have a 60-second cooldown. It used to be 30 seconds, now it's even more. So I think that's good because signatures were just OP and this was well needed. However, what's cool is that now it's affected by skill haste, so you can get it faster if you spec in skill haste. Now let's take a look at some gear sets. What's really good is that if you're using the defense set, now you could automatically switch to sidearm when your SMG runs out of ammo, so that's pretty good. The Reclaimer was completely revamped. Now it's all about like support station and just throwing that and making it a viable set again. Alpha Bridge is still good, still maybe meta for a few people out there. I don't think it's as good as some of the other sets right now. But, I mean, it got nerfed, it was a meta, so they had to do that. Tactician's Authority kinda went back to what it used to be. What's bad is that the tech build doesn't seem very strong in this patch, and they nerfed a lot of the skills. Deadeye now, when you have 4P set, you have to have a zoom scope, not a red dot or anything like that. Only works with zoom scope, which is awesome. However, I would have added that if a player is killed this way, it's an insta-kill and can be revived. This would make the set a bit more viable and on par with the other ones. The Phoenix credit cap has been increased from 2,000 to 5,000, but again, why now? I don't understand why Massive trickles down little bits here and there to make us leftover players of this dying game a little excited about these stupid little things. Give all the players everything you can right away to keep the player base. A quality of life improvement should be given as soon as possible. If you're capable of raising the max to 10, which you probably will in patch 1.7, do it now instead, please. They changed the recalibration, which is really good. It caps at about 202k now, so you can recalibrate as much as you want, and eventually it's only going to cost you about 200k every time. It's not going to go up into the millions, which is awesome. Base damage on all weapons have been reduced to balance correctly with the reduced damage mitigation from the changes of armor. That's bad. So I don't see this at all, and this was not properly balanced. They need to recheck this when it comes to time to kill for the NPCs. Something's not right with this, and time to kill is not the same as it used to be. But again, wait for what I have to say at the end of the video about this. SMGs have been given back their critical hit chance instead of critical hit damage, with a maximum roll of 22%. It only took them like 4 or 5 patches to realize this. I told them months ago that this should go back to the way it was. Cool-headed will now have a small cooldown to not trigger repeatedly with automatic weapons. At the rate our cooldowns are in this patch, this cool-headed was a good hope, but no, they nerfed this too, so I think that was a bad call on their part. For Provident, the last bullet of the magazine deals only 10% more damage instead of 60. That is a garbage nerf. They should have just left it alone and say that it only works with magazines and not single reloading weapons. The Tenebrae, so destroying an enemy's weak point resets the skill cooldowns for you and your nearby group members. The talent has 10-second cooldown. Why? This 10-second cooldown is so dumb. There are hardly any in PvP, and in PvE, why not have us do as much as we can actually hit the enemy weak points? The cooldown on this ruined the weapon for me. The Historian, each bullet embeds itself to target to detonate 2 seconds later for 700% of the user's firearm. I love this gun with Deadeye. I have 8000 firearm. It's very fun, it's good, but the base damage is just not good enough to be a viable weapon. The Showstopper got its base damage increased by 11%. Took them long enough, but I don't know if this is gonna really change that much. When matchmaking in solo PvP and survival, players end up in a guaranteed solo, so grouping is not possible. This should have been there from the start of survival, but I guess they implemented it now. On top of that, players cannot loot or kill other downed players in PvE. Again, should have been there from the start of survival. Now, those are some of the major changes that hit the Division this week, but what I think the big change is the playstyle. They wanted to push players into cover so much, but without changing too much the style of play you're already used to. The running around in circles like a headless chicken and face tanking everything, those days are slowly disappearing, and we're finally seeing people playing the game the way they want you to play it. Those of you who have been playing 1.6 for a while now are realizing it and are slowly adjusting, and so should you. Massive is forcing you to play the way they want you to play their cover-based shooter. While you were all complaining about running and reloading, what the hell, they ninja nerfed the entire game anyway to mold you to play their way. Remove your armor, make you get 3 hit by shotgunners, force you into cover. I mean, that's what they want you to do. Play in cover, play tactically. And that's what they did. And that's what you'll be doing soon. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to show me that you want to see more. I did a video of what I think the Division Patch 2 should be, and it got a lot of good feedback. Go check it out and share it, and maybe Massive will eventually see it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.